That's why we're doing this podcast, right? I mean, we've sought this information for so many years, and even trying to seek it, there wasn't really a place that we were finding it.
And not easily accessible. That's the biggest thing. Hello, everyone. We are Greg and Jacquie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world.
Hey guys, welcome back. We're excited to chat with you again today. Another fun-filled week for us, and hope for you guys too. We're actually watching our kids play outside right now, and it's so fun. Maybe your office or where you work, you're able to see your family enjoy life, and I think that's one of the coolest things that we get to do from your office right now.
Such a blessing. You know, you got mountain view out here, but we also have a nice big backyard, and we have huge windows to be able to look out. And I love when we're doing stuff in here, and the kids are, especially a day like today, they're literally out there jumping the trampoline, and it's got 2 inches of snow on it right now, so all the snow is flying, and they're just having a blast. Probably starting to sled a little bit out there as well. We have a little bit of slope in our yard, and so it's cool.
Well, we don't have, the neighbor does, so they'll be on there.
Totally do.
Our neighbors love us. I know they do.
We've had this a couple houses now where the neighbors have a really good hill, and so we tend to kind of borrow it.
Yeah.
And it's worked out pretty good.
It has been.
That's what neighbors should do. Look out for each other like that,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
If we had a cool sled like that hill, we'd be willing to too.
For sure. Our kids would be out there leading the charge, probably.
Maybe make them pay for tickets to do it.
So today, what do you want to talk about, my dear?
I just want to talk about some of the fun things that we do with the kids differently, and how we have learned through the years how important it is to enjoy all the personalities of our kids, but all the personalities of you and me.
Yeah, we were talking last time just about, different ways that God makes you and how God makes men protectors and fighters, and he instills in women the nurturing side and how to not compete with each other's and, embrace each other's differences, and how the more you learn how to do that, the more harmony, security, even joy there is between not only each other, but also with your kids, and so to take it another step, just talking about kind of carrying that through a little bit in other scenarios. It was interesting. We had a great call with one of our coaching clients last week, and this couple, they have kids, 2 and under, I think?
Yes.
Right? And so one of the things that was being brought up, because we were just talking about, we like to talk a lot with our coaching clients about always trying to improve in every category, like in particular family life, and if you could have anything more in your marriage, what would it be? And we were just listening to because it's important, I think, to dream to that stuff. You have to always have a vision for where you're going and how you can get better versus being hung up in the things that aren't perfect or that you might be stuck on. And so one of the things that the wife had mentioned was, she just said, I just kind of wish we could all spend a little bit more time in the same room together, and I was like, well, what do you mean by that? And she said, well, when the littles are playing over here or something, and I can just be in there and we can just be in the room together. I could watch the husband I started asking, like, so for like how long do you think? She's like, I don't know, maybe like 30 minutes, 60 minutes, something like that. And I could watch the husband. He was kind of like, oh gosh, like, what is this going to be like, And I could sense it too, because I just know from experience, when you have really little kids like that little, they like to play with you for a little while. And then they're just kind of off doing their own thing again. And then you're kind of like sitting there like, well, what am I supposed to do now? And it really tied in really well with something that I had read recently, where it said that there is some kind of a chemical that gets produced when a father is actually being playful with his young children. And it gets produced between him and the child. And so like there's this natural tendency for a dad to be able to be super like fun, playful with little kids, right? But you don't get the same reaction if a mom does it. Like the chemical isn't produced. Now there's a different chemical that's produced when moms are just being nurturing that like doesn't get produced when a dad's being nurturing. And it's just, to me, this stuff is just so amazing how God designed us, you know? And so moms are naturally going to be more than nurturing. Like if a kid hurts themselves, they're not running to dad, hardly ever. They're always running to mom. And as a dad, you can almost be like, what's wrong with me? You know what I mean?
Well, that's a really good point, because I know early on you didn't know this kind of stuff. Neither did I, obviously. But you did feel like that sometimes. You know what I mean? Like you were kind of hurt by it sometimes.
And especially in our house, because, you know, we had 5 kids, 4 and under at one point. Like, so they were all really young. So it was like times 5 when this stuff would happen. And even when you're so busy, they're all still trying to go to you. I would think that, okay, they recognize, well, mom's busy, so maybe I'll get one of them over here. It just didn't happen. They all wanted mom, you know? But the other side was, at the same time, I was always the fun, you know, playmate with them, like between the two of us, right? They naturally, if we were going to lay on the ground and start just goofing around, rolling around, wrestling, tickling, playing, it was usually going to be more of a me thing than it was for a you thing. And I remember you talking to me about this one time and just feeling like, you felt like you're like the boring parent or something like that. And I didn't really get it back then until I read this study. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's why. Like it's actually designed. God designed us this way. And again, when you get this, I think now when you see me tickling or rolling around or goofing around with the kids and they're laughing and I'm laughing, it's okay just for you to be laughing, to be part of it. And when I see them being really fully feeling nurtured when they're snuggling up with you, instead of me feeling like I'm missing something, just be so happy that they're being nurtured, period, because we're a team.
Yeah,
right?
So important. I think we were just talking about that earlier, that, you know, what's it look like to be a team, you know, and what's that look like to, of course, understand these things, because then, you know, it's so hard because when maybe one parent explains something and you haven't maybe studied some of this yourself, you won't take it as well. But once you study some of the stuff yourself, you're kind of like, oh, so it's not just my wife telling me this, or it's not just my husband telling me this. Like, it's actually like, I mean, it's the way we were designed. Like, it's not just a feeling she has or he has.
Yeah.
It's like how we were designed. And I think that's really powerful, because sometimes we do need to study stuff alone to be able to apply it together. Mm-hmm. And this is one of those areas. And so, I mean, maybe other moms out there can relate and whatnot, but there is something funny when, you know, dads in particular can wrestle and laugh and giggle. So like it's almost with no effort, you know, it's almost just like they walk into a room. I mean, I still have to, I'm like, I'll be talking and then all of a sudden you're, you know, goofing with Drews or something like that. I'm like, I'm talking. They're like, oh, mom's talking. I'm like you didn't know. You know what I mean? Like you didn't know I was talking. And if we did that to you, you'd be like, that's rude. And I'm like, I know. Like, you would be so mad. And so like, or like all of a sudden you'll start like, I don't know, doing something with the girl's hair and pull their hair and they'll look around like, who did that? You're like, no, I don't know. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you don't know, you know, like, it's like, it's so obvious, you know, but I think it's just powerful to talk about, because even in our household, you know, naturally, if there's going to be kind of like an activity that is kind of, I don't know, stretching or outgoing or something like that. Not that I don't think I'm fun and outgoing, but typically you think of it before me. Let's just say it that way.
Yeah. That's true.
And it's usually at a different level than I would have even thought of it. Yeah.
Do you remember before we had kids, I had to actually do some of this with you, if you remember. You had to kind of be the playmate for me, the kid playmate.
Okay, hence 6 kids later, babe. Let's not go there.
Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, do you remember I would wrestle with you and you would like, why do you need to wrestle
I'd be like,
and I'd be tickling you and you'd be like, try not to laugh, and you'd just be like almost annoyed by it. Then I'd make you airplane. Remember how I'd put my feet under your hips and lift you?
Wow, we're going there again. Hence 6 kids later. And so
that was fun.
For you or me?
For us.
Oh, for us.
It was.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think you had that chemical thing happening too.
Like a dream come true for me. Yeah, that's what I would say it was.
You're welcome.
But the point being is that it is so important to embrace the different things. And, you know, just like you were talking about how fun it is when we do, because even some of the fun humor that comes out maybe from, Greg being who you are, I enjoy it. Like I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious, or I think it's connecting, or I think it's, building a relationship with our kids or me or whatever the case may be. I mean, typically, you're the one that'll maybe take the adventure before me. But once we start the adventure, I'm all excited about the adventure we're in, whatever that may be. And it doesn't have to be a big adventure. It could just be a small adventure.
Yeah, like going down the fast lane with snow tubing.
Yeah, something like that.
That obviously wasn't your idea.
Clearly.
But it feeds into what I was saying about our coaching client.
Yeah.
And so then it was kind of like, okay, you kind of hear through this, what was going on. The more you learn, the more experience you have. And really, for her, she just loves those times when the kids and her husband are together. And there's these fun, memorable things happening, whether it's a nurturing thing or a memorable thing or a fun thing. She just likes when they're all together when it's happening. And so I told the husband, I said, so, just to kind of set you at ease, what could happen is if you don't have to go spend, 3 hours in a room just watching the kids, move around and, because I get it, but you can go in there and it's okay to go in there and be the playmate, go in there and let them crawl all over you and giggle with them and laugh with them. And I said, you're probably good at that, aren't you? And he said, yeah, actually, I'm really good at that. And I could tell she's kind of like, yeah, I'm not really good at that. I'm like, but that's just normal. But if you're in the room together and you're creating that kind of atmosphere, it's like, if you go in there and play around for 10, 15 minutes, I'm telling you, there's so much like fulfillment that happens from it that's really what she was looking for, to be able to do that stuff, right? It doesn't have to be him going and doing it without her there, or whatever. And so it was just cool. It was just kind of brought all this stuff I've been learning together, listening to them as brand new parents,
Well, and I think it's such a reminder. And again, we didn't know this stuff. We didn't have somebody to learn this kind of stuff from, but I can totally relate to her when it's like majority of the time she's probably with the kids and he's off doing something else. And, then there's the part where like just they're together, meaning husband and wife are together, which is great. And then there's probably some time when like she's doing something and he's with them. But when, even at young ages, are we all a family? Because if not, it feels like we're living separate lives sometimes. Yeah. And I can relate to that because I was the primary person around the kids all the time, especially when they were little. And I don't want to have the kids to myself all the time. I want to share it as a family, And so I see the desire of her heart, which is ultimately to make sure that they are together enjoying each other and their kids. Yep. And there is a way to do that, And I think even if it's uncomfortable at first, like you said, like, okay, they're wrestling, they're having fun. But even afterwards, sometimes it's just sitting in the room with mom and the kids as the kids are playing together. Yeah. But the four of you still just kind of like, the kids can come up to both of you. They can go play a little bit. Like mom and dad can still hang. Like,
and the more you understand these things, I know we keep kind of going back to like the dad being playful with the kids and the mom being nurturing. But again, it's just so huge. Because like think about the scenario where someone doesn't understand this, right? And so let's say that the mom is feeling like, man, I'm with the kids all the time. I'd like you to be part of this. But then the dad shows up, and if he starts being playful, and then mom almost starts resenting that because she feels like she's not the fun one because she doesn't understand this. Now it almost becomes a negative when y'all hang out, right? It's like, oh, that's great. You just get to play. I have to do all the work. I have to do all this stuff because they don't understand. Instead of, no, actually, this is just part of how we're wired. Let's embrace it. Let's enjoy it. Like, let's have fun with it. Let it be a joyful thing for you too. In fact, get in there and start wrestling with us a little bit, and whatever. And I just, again, I don't think I can stress it enough is, we say this all the time to people that we coach and mentor in various different ways, but it's like every 20 or 30 something needs a 40 or 50 something with a lot of real life experiences of success and failure that they've learned from, a good biblical foundation in life, that they can share with them some of these experiences. So that way they don't have to relive doing this wrong for so long. And then later on read books and be like, oh, that's why we did that wrong. You learn from one of two ways, mentors or mistakes. Right. The mistakes part gets more costly the older, the more you go on, instead of just learning from some people who are where you're at. That's why we're doing this podcast. Right. I mean, we just, we've sought this information for so many years, and even trying to seek it, there wasn't really a place that we were finding it, and so,
and not easily accessible. That's the biggest thing. Like, I mean, being able to listen to something and apply it and understand it right away is so important, because we all know that we're all super busy people. And I don't mean that like, is like just to blow it off like, oh, we're kind of busy people. Like everybody is, know? So to be able to really relate to the information that you're hearing and be able to apply it right away, I think it's a game changer.
Yeah, for sure. Final thoughts?
I just gave it.
Okay. That was a good one.
Yeah.
All right. Hey everyone, thanks for listening and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. See you next time.